Burroughs.
What's up, party peoples?
What's going on, everybody?
Yes.
Welcome to Local Musicians.
XP in a place.
I am your co-host, Chris Burroughs.
You're the host. I'm the co-host. I'm co-host Tyrone Jackson.
You're
the host, bro.
Man. Co-host, man.
You the host, bro.
Co-host, man.
Yeah.
Why am I the host?
Because you was trading fours like a demon the other night, bro.
So were you. So was everybody.
Right.
Dude.
I told Brian Falgoon, man, I was like, yo, bro, you usually record the first song, bro.
Bro, he cracked me up, dude. You got to hear. So I'm gonna show you his response because I sent Brian a message, who is our official videographer,
right,
and catches the first song of the jam session on Monday nights over at Napoleon's, the Joe Granston jam session,
right,
and so I asked him, I just happened to set my phone up, man. I wasn't even like, I just had to check on a couple of things personally. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, man, I got to check on something's not, So, but what was so funny, dude, is I sent Brian a message and I said, let's see, where is it? He sent me actually a video. He took a video of some of the other cats later,
right,
and asked for the song title as he normally does. But right. I said, "Hey man, did you get the first tune? There was some good stuff happening there." He says, "Yeah, I know," and regretfully, no. He goes, "I only got Tyrone's piano solo, which he did get that."
Okay, cool. I gotta get that.
And he says, those people at the table that's in front of us had some big heads, so it was hard to shoot.
I was like, man, when I finally got off the stage, I was like, bro, did you get that? He's like, no. I was like, all the ones you didn't get, bro, that was burning because it was organically happened,
Bro, so I sent him a photo of this
cat.
Oh,
wow. Alien.
Star Trek.
Right.
With the big head, dude.
Oh,
that was funny, man. He said they had some big heads, man. I couldn't shoot.
Up in the bed, boy.
I couldn't get past them. So, but anyway, thank you for tuning in with us this evening. We are happy to entertain you on this. What is the date today? It's like at the end of the
23rd,
month.
Bro. It's the 23rd.
Man, 23rd. Got a lot of great things happening, but thank you for tuning in with us tonight.
Hey, bro, when did Mark start repping the Nets, bro?
Mark's already in the chat. Oh, he's been waiting for.
I thought it was just the Knicks are be repping the Nets too.
Oh yeah, that's the rival. He said Knicks and Nets.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks. You can't do that.
Says, good evening, gents. Knicks and Nets serving as background.
Come on, bro.
Do they still play basketball in New York and New Jersey?
Son.
Anyway.
What are you doing, son?
Our good friend, Mark. Oh, wait a minute. We got his middle name. Mark's middle, because we did the middle name thing. Was it last week or week before? Mark's middle name is Ira.
Ooh.
So Mark,
Ira,
Marcus, Ira, Podhorser.
That's Mip.
What a name.
Mip up this bad boy. MIP.
Ira. So I've been calling him Ira. I answered the phone. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. So, but anyway, hey, we got
look at Bruce Pulver.
All right, we got Billy Ross, drummer, in the chat. What's up, Billy?
Okay, Billy Ross. Bruce Pulver
in the chat. Another drummer. And
Bruce did my liner notes from my first album.
I was just gonna say, great writer. Yeah, Bruce Pulver, a veteran supporter of the local jazz scene here in Atlanta. What's going on, Bruce? Now, we have some guests in the that are coming on the show, but how can they be in the chat too, bruh? She gonna double time. She
double up. That's like that cat last night that played the melody and sang the melody. He double dipped. And My Funny Valentine was already a long form.
Man, that was I actually went home, came back, and the cat was still singing. The one thing I did notice, he had a nice tone though on the flugel. He had a real nice tone.
He double dipped.
Totally double dip. He played the melody and sang the melody. Like, make a decision, bruh. You got to make a decision. Why you
right?
Make a decision. Make a decision, man. That was at least 20 minutes long.
Oh, but it was long.
20 minutes. Cats was up there, man. They got their sleeping bags out, man.
What about that piano player, bro? What about the piano player? Hey, man. I just want to sit in with vocalist. Okay.
Oh gosh. And then set his laptop up right on. Man, there was some interesting guys.
And then he said,
last night, man.
Hey, can I plug into your power? I'm like, I don't want this power. This is the power.
Ain't my power. Ain't my power.
Right. Oh man.
But I find it funny because, and I understand. Billy Ross is a bass player. I'm sorry, man. I thought you were Billy from the session, but my bad. I find it funny and I understand it from afar, but when you coming to the jam session with an agenda is, man, it's I think it's counterproductive because you don't know what's going to happen. So, and that's the beauty of it is that, hey, you may play with this person, you may play with that person. You just have to deal and roll with you got to roll with the punches. If you have an agenda that it never is going to work out for you. It's never going to work out.
I heard Jurassic Park was on the drum set.
What?
This is a velociraptor. Something came across your snare drum.
Oh man. Okay, so I figured out what happened. So last night, man, I was a little bit peed because a cat sat in on the drums, and my snare drum looked like a child had taken a crayon and just like. I'm like, what's up with all these marks, man? What's going on? So Tyrone tries to warn me about it. And I didn't catch what he was saying. So I was like, okay. So but when I got up there, man, I was like, what the heck? But what I think, so I got the marks they came off. I just kind of
they came off. Okay.
Yeah, I just used a little and it was fine. So, but I think what happened was either he was using either a stick. So sometimes what happens with the tip of the stick is it gets dirty from the cymbals that you're playing. So it can get real black on the tip of the stick. Right. But whatever he was doing, the cat had to be like using the stick as like a brush or something. I'm like, dude.
Zorro. He had Zorro. Zorro was.
I'm not trying to talk about the cat. I mean, because the cat had some nice stuff. He had some interesting ideas and I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I was just like, man, what is going on? But the snare is cool. Everything worked out. So.
Okay. Hey, but did I see you go up and tell another drummer, hey, man, you got to have your own sticks or something like that?
I didn't say that. All I said was, I forgot to leave a pair of sticks on so that people that don't bring their sticks could have a pair of sticks. That's all.
But isn't that like part of the thing? You got to know to bring sticks if you're a drummer. Like
you're not supposed to really. You're supposed to use whatever's there.
Oh, okay.
Technically, I'm not talking, but sometimes I'll bring. I know that Robert Boone brings his stick back because you can get
he's in
man. And actually, I got sabotaged one time by Enrico Scott, late great Enrico Scott, bless his soul, man. But he sabotaged me the first because those old G's, he was an OG to the max, bro. Right. I mean, straight out of like across 110th Street, right? He was a straight OG, right? He hands me, I went and sat in, I can't remember what gig it was. The cat hands me a 5B stick and a 2B, which are like really heavy sticks.
Right.
Right. And I was like, but you don't, you get up there and you're like, uh-oh. But
Oh,
he
here
did
we
it
go.
and and I saw him like kind of laughing about it. Like,
Right.
let's see what young buck, let's see what you got now, but cats normally you just play what's there. So it's
okay.
all good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all good. So Robert Boone says Jurassic Park on that snare. That cat had some antics, dude. Like he had been watching some Johnny Vodakovich. He had some Johnny Vodakovich. He even had the little skull, like the little
He did have a
hat
story like
that Johnny wears. So
yeah.
but anyway, it was a good night, man. We're gonna actually we might play a little footage from the session last night because I got a couple questions from Mr. Jackson on what he was
oh really
thinking in the moment there.
Oh,
but so let's get some housekeeping. Please go if you're on YouTube or go to the YouTube, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. Like the video, hit the notification button so you know, or the notification bell so you know when we are going live and when we drop a new video. All of the videos that we do, the live stream that we do on Tuesdays is logged into the YouTube automatically in the live video category. So people ask me all the time. We have our good friend Brian Valgu, who's going to start helping us with some of the video stuff and organizing. Nice. So he's going to get in there and kind of try to get some stuff organized for us. And we're going to get to that real soon. But if you're looking for past episodes, they are in the live category, live video category. So let's see. Other than that, we are on Facebook, Instagram. We have pages on there. Please go and like and give us a like on Facebook and Instagram, Spotify. Also, we're going to have our episodes. We're a little behind on that. We have some people that do listen on Spotify. We're a little bit behind on that, but we're going to get all that cleaned up, guys. We just need some help. We are getting it. So nice. Just got to stay patient, and thanks for rolling with us. And everything is going to be cool. So
is this episode 25, bro?
This is episode 25.
Wow.
25. So we are a quarter of the way from 100.
Wow.
So if we do every week this year, which we probably won't, but if we make most of them, we still won't get to, man, 100 episodes a long time, man. That's a lot of episodes.
We might have to go into syndication or something, bro.
I know. Well, you have to do multiples, man, which is almost impossible for us because your schedule, my schedule. Right. But who knows? We might add some more shows and bring in some new blood. So we'll see what happens. Silver anniversary.
Yeah, get that Robert Boone in and get that hot mic, bro. Hot mic.
So we are getting back to having guests on at a regular clip. So let's see. In a couple of weeks, we got the Boone brothers that are going to be coming on and hanging out with us, and we're going to talk to them about their musical upbringing. They're both doing great things in the music business. Both of them are professional musicians, and we are more than happy to see their growth and their drive and really reaching their potential. Brandon plays with the Tedeschi Trucks band, and Robert plays with
Count
Basie Orchestra. So
he teaches at Georgia State,
and teaches at Georgia, and it can be done. It can be done, young people. You just have to you have to have a vision, and you have to be disciplined about what you're doing, and most of all, you have to be passionate. You know, that's the main thing.
They listen to cats. You know what I'm saying? They listen.
Yeah, man. Well, we got some stories about both of them, but specifically Brandon, who used to come out when you had the session at Sam Ash, man. Yeah. He's a product of that,
Yep.
So cool.
I didn't know John LaMattina, bro.
John LaMattina. Yes. John LaMattina is He is currently taking drum lessons from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is the John. Remember his student came to play with you or some story. I can't remember what the story is. Yeah, but John's been in the last few weeks, and
Okay.
good to see him. So we're waiting for we have two guests that are going to be in tonight.
You got one guest in the queue, but where's the other guest?
Well, yeah, you need to get in the queue, man. So got to be in the queue, not in the chat. So, but
got to be like you got to be like
Josh. There it is.
Yeah, Josh. That's right, Josh. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah,
that's right. John was telling me. I forgot all about that. Yeah.
So,
you know how Rocky was saying, Adrian, like Tia.
So, but in the meantime, we do have a topic tonight also that we're gonna discuss a little bit. But in the meantime, let's what's going on with you. So you just had how did your show go at you curated the show at the Balzer with Gordon Vernon. That was a couple weeks ago.
Man, it was a really good show with Audrey Shakir, and I'm sure Vinny's going to talk. Our guest, is going to talk about Audrey being in on one of his shows as well.
Right.
But yeah, she did great. It was a really great show. It was Robert Boone on drums, Neil Starkey on bass.
Oh yeah,
and
I always forget we got to get Neil on, man.
Yeah,
like ASAP. We got to get Neil on.
Yeah,
I always forget about that. We got to get Neil on.
So it was cool, man, because he did the music of Fats Waller and Harold Arlen.
Okay.
And so, you don't think about how prolific of a writer Fats Waller was and composer, man, and just how he sold his songs for nothing. He had needed money. He was not a great businessman. So literally a lot of the tunes that he wrote, his name is not on them. But yeah, it's just sad how back in the day the music business was, you can sell so many songs, and then afterwards you probably look back, it's like, man, I wrote that song, but your name is not attached to it. I mean, Miles Davis took over a lot of songs because it's common practice back in the day. The person who was the highest grossing artist or the one who had the most clout would be put their name on it. So Miles Davis, Bill Evans wrote a lot of the songs for Miles Davis, but his name is credited on the song, So, but it was just a common practice back in the day, so.
Right.
But think about Clyde Stubblefield. How much money should he have right now?
Well, we won't talk about that one, because that's one of the greatest ripoffs of history.
Right.
But James Brown, he took care of himself. I'm gonna tell you that much.
But there was a lot of people who iconic drum beats or grooves, whatever, were created by some people, and you never really get credit.
I think Clyde is in terms of being sampled, in terms of being copied. That's like,
that's even more. But I mean, if you even think about the grooves that he created for James Brown, I mean, that's his grooves that he created,
Right. And those grooves, are what people recognize for the song. Right. You can play those grooves and oh, that's such and such. Right. Oh, that's Cold Sweat. Oh, that's Papa Don't Take No Man. Oh, that's what's Right. So, but we should have a little symposium on publishing and all that stuff too, man.
Yeah.
And bring some people in to kind of talk about that. But cool. Well, we got a couple of guests. We're gonna kind of get to the meat and potatoes of tonight. So we have two guests. The first one. So I'm gonna set it up like this. My mother's favorite movie, she probably watches it every week.
Okay.
Is The Godfather.
That's your mother's favorite movie?
Favorite. I got her the deluxe DVD. She will watch that and it's hilarious because my sister, they like just are tired of her watching it. But I said, no, you go and watch this as much as you want. I'm getting you the DVD. You sit there all day long and you watch Godfather Part 1, and then you watch Part 2 as much as you want, right? So here's the thing, man. Our first guest, his name is straight out of The Godfather, man.
Oh, wow.
It's straight. There's no more paisan Italian name than the cat that we're about to introduce here.
I
can you think of?
I could see him working for Coca-Cola, bro, just enforcing stuff, bro. Like,
he was the enforcer, man. He didn't even.
You trying to come over here?
He had a desk. He had a desk,
formula?
but he was the muscle.
Yeah,
he was the muscle. Don't make him call his uncle. He call his uncle and he would get you straightened out, man.
Right?
Get you
Pepsi. What you trying to do, Pepsi? You trying to get the secret formula?
No, I mean, if anybody walked in with a Pepsi, bro,
walked in with a Pepsi, slap it out.
Any kind of Pepsi product, I mean, it's not going to end well, Right. You're going to end up like Frank Pentangeli in Godfather 2, man, when he walks in and the Rosado brothers, Rosado brothers was waiting for him, man. I mean, so
look at that.
But he is
guessing already.
But anyway, our first guest, he is a great. Actually, I was going to say saxophone, man, but he handles reeds of
double
all
or triplet, bro. Yeah,
he is a quadrupler, I believe. We'll find out.
Right.
I was just on a week of shows with him where he played baritone.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was playing baritone too.
That's right. So, and then our second guest. Now,
okay.
I don't know if she has Italian heritage, but she can cook.
Really?
Italian food, lasagna, bruh. Ooh. You have no idea.
Really?
It's serious too.
She's been holding out. She's been holding out.
No, you just got to be in the know, man. You got to be in the know. I don't know if she's throwing down as much as she used to, but because she used to be.
I know the cats used to be at the crib, right?
Yeah, a mother hen to a lot of the cats that were around that might have needed a spot to stay or
right.
Just needed some home cooking every now and then or all that kind of stuff. But she is a great vocalist who was trained by her mother. Wow. And we're going to have her talk about her mom. And side note, also plays bass.
That's what I was about to say. Plays a little bass too.
Also plays bass. So with no further ado,
okay,
Vinnie Dagostino, Tia Rix.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Hey.
Right, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, sound good.
Oh excellent. Yeah, I gotta adjust our cameras here so we can. So this is our first. Okay, so we got some dogs in the back. Yes, I'm gonna guess that's Vinnie's house.
No. It's Tia's house.
What? I know Tia got the cats, but not the dog. I didn't know we got the dogs
all kind of stuff.
Man, okay. Now I'm learning. So this is our first attempt at the four note here. So let's see if we can. No, that's not going to work. This is the best we can do, man. We got 4 people on this mug.
Well, yeah.
What did Tyrone? No. Don't take yourself.
I just took myself out to see if that was going to cure anything.
This will work. This is working.
A little more.
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
What's going on?
Well, that's some setup. Thank you, Chris. Now, before we go farther, Chris, you might fall over because I got to tell you a little tidbit. This is true. I swear, absolute truth. My mom's cousin, who is still out there, she lives in Italy. She married into the Corleone family.
Oh wow!
And in real life, we're getting some feedback somewhere.
Yes.
But she married into the Corleone family.
It might be Tia's thing.
Tia, you got a pair of.
There you go. Say something, Vinnie.
Hey. Yeah, we got it. So anyway,
Okay.
she married her cousin married a guy named, check it out, Nino Corleone. I swear, real name. Yep,
Nino.
real deal.
Hey, Vinny, did I tell you I really like you, man, as a person, as an individual? Really like you, bro.
Thanks, man. You're not just saying that.
No. Hey, man, I got a question for you since we're doing a little deep dive. How has it been transitioning into a band leader? Because I mean, we've always been sidemen, me and you, on gigs and stuff like that. I mean, I've done my gigs as a leader too, but mainly as a sideman. And I've seen you on those gigs as like a utility type of player. You could play every situation, but now you're transitioning into a band leader. What's that been like?
Man, it's been great. So first of all, been a great learning experience. Second, working with the people that I love, just as people, but also personality wise, there's nothing like musicians. After a long time in the corporate world, for those out there that have done that, man, there's nothing like working with musicians. Funniest, smartest, sharp. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. Yeah. So, but for me, it's been very educational because coming out of a corporate culture, it's very much like, man, set them up, knock it down. You got to have a big plan, and it's very almost military. And that doesn't go over in the music world in any good way. So I'm learning to be a better leader, in this world. And I'm, trying to be all ears on it. And I'm learning, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and getting better at it. Try to learn something, to get better on it each time out.
Right.
Cool. Well, Tia, I think you're muted, Tia. You need to unmute your mic.
I think
there you go.
Because of the echo.
I did it because of the echo, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. What's going on with you, Tia? So tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you.
Wow. Slow Christmas season. I don't do the corporate thing, so I didn't have that much going, but looking forward to got several gigs lined up for the first part of this year, and happy about that. And if you look carefully, I've got a side buddy right here.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
He's not leaving my side, so but at least he's being quiet.
Right.
That's not barking like dogs.
Right.
So you guys have a show coming up at the Red Light Cafe, and I know that Vinnie has been doing a lot of stuff at the Red Light, and which has been great. And actually, man, you've been taking a lot of initiative to just hey, I'm going to do, this is what I want to do. You went out, you searched around, tried to find a spot that you guys could, just kind of simmer and cook and find and you've also found a couple of concepts, man, that you're really just trying to really cultivate, man. And that's a really cool thing. You're staying kind of with the same things, and you're just letting the band, just get better and better. So talk about, your decision making on just finding what you want to do, and then also searching out Red Light.
Yeah, man. So thanks, Chris. So a couple things on that. First is, like I mentioned, constantly trying to learn. But one of my biggest learnings is that you got to try stuff. You got to try stuff. You want to go out of the, I want to go out of the gate with the highest quality, the best possible show. But the hardest lesson for me was sometimes it'll work and it may not work. And it's hard not to take it personally, but you got to keep on trucking, Mm-hmm. And that's happened, so definitely that's one thing. Second, coming out of corporate life, I made a list. I'm a big on being organized and all. So I made a list of, like 10, 20 dream projects that I wanted to do. And I'm really just going after them, one by one, and seeing kind of what could hit. And as you guys know, now we're living in an age where, we are often our own promoters, and you've got to get out there, got to get out there, got to get the word out, try to get an audience, try to build a following, and it could take a minute. So there are a couple that I'm staying with. We have one show where we do a combination of 70s jazz with DJ, and that's been fun, and that's been building. That's been fun. And now we're hitting, I'm going to hit, Tia and I are going to hit with a show that's themed after, we kicked around some ideas, but we landed on a hidden songs of Jimmy Van Heusen. So that's another, that's a concept that we're hitting, is stick with one composer. And also, the Red Light's been great. They've been real supportive. And, there's every kind of music, magic, burlesque, there's everything there. So they're real welcoming to, I also want to give credit to the jam, man, the Wednesday jam, because that's, otherwise, if it weren't for that, anything I'm doing there, that would have never happened.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good deal too, because, of course the onus is on you to get people there, but they have a sound system. That's part of a good thing. They'll do a recording for you and stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good to have that kind of accessibility with the owner, to the point where, okay, hey, you can talk about different things and say, hey, this is, thank you for meeting us halfway,
Yeah,
because they're taking a chance too.
They're taking a chance too.
Yeah, but it's comforting that it's like, okay, if I know that even if I just want to play the gig, they'll even provide somebody to take the money at the door and stuff like that. So you could be the artist,
Right.
and that is so important. So many times we go into this thing, we have to count seats. We're just telling somebody, hey, you got to count seats because you might not be able to trust the owner in these situations, or all these different things that you have to do. So it's that much better when you have a relationship with somebody and say, hey, we're, it's like that. Me and Chris, you were with us when we were at Hendershots. We go to the moon at Hendershots because the relationship that we have. And so same thing with Michael and at Red Light, we want to do the best for them because they're creating an environment for musicians to succeed. So shout out to Red Light for sure. But the onus is always on us to make sure we do our part so we don't burn up those bridges and people could keep trusting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Tia, what's your because you've attempted to, it's a grind to get your own shows together, to get a band together, to rehearse the music. And I think the most difficult thing is finding a place. Just finding places to play anymore is quite a challenge, especially for if you're doing any kind of straight ahead jazz kind of thing. Because in Atlanta, we used to have, one or two places. Those places are gone. There's a possibility of some new things that are going to be opening up, hopefully, possibly sometime this year. But I know a little bit about your journey in terms of just, sticking with things. And so it seems like, you're finding another thing here with what you're doing with Vinnie. And so talk a little bit about, how did this project sort of come about?
Well, for me, it is difficult getting gigs these days. I mean, like you said, that all the young kids are like going to all the microbreweries and all of that, and so it's hard. It is hard, and I had been trying to get something booked at Red Light, and Michael just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm booked. And I was like, that's just insane. And I was talking to Vinnie about it, and Vinnie said, well, let's do something together at the Red Light. And I was like, absolutely. Well, Vinnie's a great musician, and for me to be able to work with him is like great. So kind of in a way, I'm getting in on his coattails, but it's not that I haven't, put in the time and the effort either.
Right.
You know, but the collaboration is the thing too. You know, when you find that niche, and you never know how it's going to work out. You guys doing the music of Jimmy Van Heusen, if that's successful, then y'all do something else. But you know, finding those collaborations, like me and Chris, we were playing in 2 different bands when we got together, and then we've been playing for nearly 20 something years. Well, almost 30 years, or close to it. But yeah, but we were in 2 separate bands. So you know, sometimes we try to see what will stick on our own and stuff. And and that time may come too, Tia, you know, where you do that. But the collaboration, sometimes you'll find something that works, you know. And speaking of collaborations, like Vinnie and has been like the horn du jour of Kyrie, another friend of ours, all the time. So you know, that's a collaboration that's worked. So you know, don't feel bad about trying to see what will stick, because or getting in on somebody's coattails. I'm sure Vinnie has a purpose for you in the band, and it's not for you to hold on to anybody's coattails.
Well, I see it the other way around. Absolutely. So thank you, Tia. But I see it the other way around. And yeah, we'll give it a go. And you know, and whatever we do Monday, you know, it'll be a great show, and then we're going to learn from it. And also, Chris, what you said before, like every day, you know, to get up every day, and this is, I mean, for all of us, you know, you get up, and I mean, maybe I don't practice first thing in the morning. I take care of all the business stuff, preparing for the next show, preparing music, you know, getting posts up, calling clubs, trying to get the next date, calling personnel, like handle all the business stuff. That's my morning.
It's a lot.
But, you know, it's like, but to do that and have that energy, you know, that's where the passion comes in. I mean, you gotta hit that. You can't, you know.
Yeah. And also, man, you know, I mean, and that's a great point, dude, because also just in terms of, you know, getting in any place can be tricky. It's because the owners, if they don't really, especially when you're talking about the kind of music that we play mostly, which is jazz, right? It's not a big seller. So I think a lot of times we get put off by, you know, businesses or, you know, wherever we're trying to get in, not wanting to, you know, maybe, you know, give us a gig or something like that. But sometimes it is about somebody else that's already kind of got their foot in the door at a place, and then saying, okay, well, you know, let's kind of check this out a little bit. And because, you know, the biggest thing, I think the you know, what's going on right now, the butting heads with the music business a lot is artists and club owners. It's like club owners, generally speaking, don't want to do anything. They want the artist. I think Tyrone just mentioned this.
Yep.
They want the artist to do everything.
Yep.
They want you to book the show. They want you to promote the show.
Yep.
They want you to post, you know, do all the social media, do everything. And that is a big problem, you know, because it should be a partnership, you know. You know, we brought into some of what we're doing our friend Mark Podhorzer, who was the manager of a rock band back in the 70s, and the stories that he tells, it's not that far different from what's going on now, but music was a bigger draw back then, because you didn't have all the other stuff that you kind of have now. So working out the relationship between, okay, how am I going to do the business stuff, and then I have to be the artist, that's I think the hardest thing you know, to do. So don't feel you know, bad about when those things become sort of tricky to do, you know. And
it's also a thing that sidemen don't have to worry about.
Right.
Sidemen, they'll just have to worry about learning the songs and stuff. But the band leader, all this stuff you have to do waking up in the morning, it is taxing, man. There's times where just answering emails is chewed up like 2-3 hours, you know? Getting you on to the next thing, or figuring out technology, how you're going to do that, or cutting down a video, or just all those different things. You haven't touched your instrument yet, you know?
Yeah,
man. Right.
The side man is going.
Well, I do my side man thing in the afternoon. Morning is the business. Then afternoon, I'm back to being a side man. You know?
Right. Well, Tia, I want to. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I want to ask you another question here about. Talk a little bit about your upbringing in jazz music, and your mom, who was a great jazz singer, and how you sort of got on the path that you've been on for so long.
Okay, yeah. So my mom was a big band singer. She sang and toured all up and down the, Gulf Coast, the South, the East Coast. I don't even know because, people of that generation were very private and very quiet. So she never really told me who she sang with, but I know that she toured.
Right.
And my father was a jazz bassist. And so before I was even born, I was hearing the music. And they used to joke about, the after gig hang, they'd come to my folks and they'd have me up under the phonograph playing Miles or whoever they were playing at that time. And if they took the needle off the phonograph, I would scream. And they'd drop it on, and then I'd be quiet. So I've had this listening influence ever since I was itty bitty bitty bitty. And it wasn't that jazz was the only form of music that we listened to in the house, but it certainly was a big influence in my early years. I wanted to play guitar.
Oh, wow.
So at the age of 6, my dad reluctantly gave me a guitar. And I, learned just basic guitar playing. I'm not a great guitarist, but I know what the changes are going to be and where to go and that sort of thing.
That's right.
And that, I think, gives me a great advantage as a vocalist, because I naturally can hear what's happening harmonically, because I did it so much playing guitar growing up.
Right.
Plus my father, would teach me a few things, but singing was the big deal. My mother had us, all of my siblings, we were like little performing children, out on the street corner, not on the street corner, but if there was a talent show, we were in it, or whatever. So, at age 5, we were singing Babyface, and, Mom taught me a lot of songs. My father did not want me to be a jazz musician. In fact, forbade me.
Oh, wow.
On his deathbed, made me promise that I would not do it. And that's, serious.
Wow.
And
rebellious.
Wow.
Hey, wait a minute. I didn't start my jazz journey until 2012.
What?
2012.
I felt like you were doing it before that.
No. That's the surprise. I haven't really been doing it that long.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
I kind of felt like you were always on a scene. I don't remember when you started.
Well, it could have been a little bit early. My mother passed away in 2008.
Okay.
And that's kind of, so 2008, but I didn't really start gigging till 2012.
Okay.
So did we meet you at the Twains session? Is that where we started and you started coming out?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my introduction into the jazz scene here. Of course I had my mother, so I knew a lot of jazz musicians. They used to come to the house.
Right. So
I am actually classically trained. I have a degree in music from Brigham Young University.
What?
In my senior year, I was going to graduate in music education, changed my mind, went to nursing school.
Right.
So, people are surprised, have no idea. I don't talk about it.
I went to BYU too. It's just backyard university. That's what.
Yeah.
I knew something was
Same
coming.
one,
You ain't
different
even
one.
been to Utah. Have you been to Utah before?
I have not, bro. I've been to Utah, bro.
Yeah, there's a gig next week.
I've been to Utah.
Getting on a plane.
You got a gig in
Wow.
Utah?
I thought
I
I
played
was
in
going to
Utah.
be a choir director somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So so your degree is in, so you changed from music to nursing? Is that what you were
That's
saying?
correct. Yeah, I was like a senior and had like only 2 classes to take to graduate with my bachelor's as a music educator, and decided that it was too serious for me. I wanted to go
Wow.
on and get my my master's and doctorate and be able to work at a major university. Well, back in those days, women did not get those kinds of positions.
Mm.
It didn't happen unless you were, willing to do some things that I wasn't willing to do.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, I wanted to make a living. So I
Wow.
went to nursing school. And then when I finally retired from nursing, then I started doing the jazz thing, because number one, Dad was dead, Mom was dead. I had kept my promise.
Right.
I'm not
Wow.
making a living at this, but I love it and
Right.
I have to do it.
Right.
Wow. Incredible story.
Yeah.
Had no idea. So, because when, I think Vinnie, when did we meet? We met probably.
We met doing the Venkman stuff for ATL Collective. Probably, man. Is that when we met? Probably.
I can't.
That
It was
would've
definitely
been-
through Kari, though, right?
Yeah,
Is that?
2000,
and I'm thinking
2000-ish, 2002, 2003, somewhere.
So did I meet
No.
Vinnie because of you, Chris, or Vinnie, did I meet you somewhere else?
I think we met doing the Prince show at Venkman's with
So
Kari.
that was okay.
I think Kari's the common denominator for us again.
Right.
is that
start.
man
Is that-
really?
But Chris,
okay.
I wonder if we played before that, but I can't remember. But for sure,
Well-
we did all the Jazz of Prince. We did all the Madhouse stuff. Then we did a bunch of the Sade stuff and all that, man.
But I thought
Right.
we did the Herbie show before you did the Prince thing.
That was
right?
that was after.
That was
That was
after?
after, because that
Yeah,
was
that was
26
after.
That was 2016.
I
when
felt
we
like
did
I
the Herbie
met
show.
Vinnie before that somewhere though.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put, the timeline together, because I'm still. I mean, I guess Tia, we met you definitely through the Twain's connection, the Twain session. And
Right.
did you ever come out to that, Vinnie? You never came
Man,
out to that.
once in a while, I was working the day job crazy.
You were knee
hours.
deep in the corporate world at that time, right?
Yeah, once in
man.
a while I came out, but it was tough.
Right.
To work up to it. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's just
Anyway.
it's always cool to kind of look back and connect the dots on
Timeline.
and then, so who approached who on this project? Was it Vinnie that talked to Tia, or Tia that talked to Vinnie? You might have said something about it earlier, but
I don't know.
I want to.
I think it was
Do you
mutual,
remember?
right, Tia?
Yeah, I think I was seriously talking to Vinnie about, I've been trying to get something set up at the Red Light for months.
Okay.
Yeah, and I said we
Mhm.
should do something, and I've been saying we should do something together anyway. So I was
Absolutely.
like, let's just do both
Right.
things.
So
Right.
So
who else is on the gig with you guys? Who else is
Man.
in the band?
we got a nice quintet, man. Kevin Bales will be on piano,
Beautiful.
Okay.
and then we got Justin Chesarik on drums.
Okay.
And we got the Godfather on bass, man. We got Neil on bass.
Starkey Vision.
Oh, so
Starkey
you guys got the nice little,
It'll be nice, man, on Monday.
foundation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
man.
be really fun. So it's all these classic American songs, man. And we'll do our thing too with them, but it's good.
Right. And that's going to happen when you said that's Monday.
That's
coming Monday night.
That's coming Monday. Red light, 8 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the many things, by the way, because I know, man, people listening, there's a lot of leaders or all leaders on this. Man, one of the things that Tia and I kicked around for probably an hour. Should we do 7:30 or 8 or 8:30? Just the start time. Start time, ticket prices. Everybody knows you got to get material and personnel, but then you got all these other details, man. Yeah. So anyway, we're doing it at 8 o'clock. Like, is it too early, too late?
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, and as Jimmy Van Heusen, we picked 10 or so of his songs, and and Tia and I both wanted to do stuff that wasn't worn out. That was a big deal of both of us. Like, let's do some stuff that, man, people have heard, but they play once in a blue moon, man. So we got great tunes, and that guy just wrote. Man, he just wrote great songs.
Name some of the songs. I don't have to name some in his show, but if people are not familiar with Jimmy Van Heusen.
Well, one song that everybody's going to know, or most people are going to know, is like "Someone in Love." That's kind of that's one of the chestnuts, right? But like there's some, man, "Moonlight Becomes You," man. So these songs, they're killer.
He also wrote "It Could Happen to You," which is like
a
pretty
staple
standard thing for jam sessions. It could happen.
And
Darn That Dream.
Yeah. Here's That Rainy Day. People know that. But man, the one that I've been geeking out on is "Come Dance with Me." Man, that's a bad song, man. That's a good song. So I know, I mean, I had never played it, so that's a beautiful song. I'm looking at my list.
Yeah, Sinatra really.
Sinatra did a second time around. Another one. Yeah,
check out that Shirley Horn recording of "Come Dance with Me."
Oh yeah, Shirley Horn is,
man.
It's unfair with Shirley Horn.
Yeah, it's unfair.
To play piano and to sing and to accompany yourself when you only know what's in your head. It's just unfair. That's one of the hardest people to try to, as a piano player, when a vocalist says, "Hey, I want to do a Shirley Horn tune where it's just piano and vocal rubato," and I'm like, that's unfair because she's playing her own accompaniment. So whatever time is going on in her head, or if she want to accentuate, she knows exactly where she is at all points in time.
Right.
For a piano player to follow a vocalist, you have to have like little markers.
Yeah.
Who's going to do what? And Tia, you could attest to this. Yeah. When you do a rubato situation, there's certain times you want to hear a downbeat from me to play something, or I'm waiting for you to give me a lyric to get to where I need to go. So it's like this ebb and flow, but we don't quite know what's going on. We throwing out these little markers, and as we play together more, then we kind of figure each other out. But Shirley Horn is the person setting the markers. So
exactly.
And
it's unfair.
Yeah.
I always feel that's why she went with the bass player she went with.
Oh, really?
Charlie Hayden, I think his last name is.
Charlie Hayden.
And, she wanted electric bass, and he just, laid down lines that even I can play. And that was it. That gave her freedom.
Right.
To do her thing.
Right.
Cool, man. Is there a cover charge? What's the ticket charge? And
we got 20 advance and 25 at the door, right, Tia?
Okay.
That's what we did.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so and this is the first. This is so are you guys, this is sort of the first, are you guys going to do a regular sort of, or a residency kind of thing there with this, or
we hope
some other places?
That's our hope.
We do have a second date, but more to come on that. We do have a second date in February. We're crafting that show now, and
nice.
But it'll be a different concept. So we're kicking that around now, and that's on February 22nd.
Cool.
But more to come because we're still putting that show together. But it won't be, we'll see how the Van Heusen thing goes, and then we got another little concept that we're kicking around for the 22nd.
Next one's gonna be Van Halen, Van Heusen, and then
Well, that's the second set. Van
Heusen. Are you wearing Van Heusen shirts too?
You've opened that up, man. Did you ever hear? There's a recording of, I think it's Paul Anka singing "Jump." I swear, man.
No.
You could find that for next time. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Oh man.
Oh my god. Oh. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we were going to be Tia, Vinnie, and the shirts.
Oh wow.
We decided that we kind of, made nicks on the shirts. That's
okay.
Yeah, y'all might be able to get a Van Heusen endorsement if you.
That's what I'm saying.
Van Heusen shirt.
You got to try stuff.
Everybody on the gig has to wear something Van Heusen.
That's right, Van Heusen. That's right. Well, listen, guys, thank you for coming on, and
thanks for having us.
We're going to, let everybody know your show coming up Monday, and we'll bring you back on as you guys progress with your other stuff, and keep an eye on
29th, right? January 29th.
January 29th. Yes. That's right. Thank you.
8
at the Red Light
Monday at the Red Light.
At the Red Light Cafe, and that is 7:30 or 8?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
$20 in advance, so you can make sure you're on the road. Be a part of that number,
Right. And you can go to the website, and they can go to the website. Buy Red Light Cafe.
RedLightCafe.com.
Beautiful.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
Cool, man. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much, and good luck on your show. And we will see you guys very soon. Thanks for coming on.
Sure.
Big love, guys.
Thanks.
All right, guys. All right, Tia. See ya. All right, man.
I didn't know that Tia wasn't on the scene.
I had no idea, man.
Yeah, me neither, man. That's cool.
The thing, you never know.
It's good to see Vinnie in that light too as a leader, man, to see those things. Because like coming from corporate America is a totally different thing. Working with abstract type of cats, usually corporate thing is concrete, sequential, bro. It's gonna be this. But you got to massage a music kind of situation, bro. It's egos, you got abstract situations, you got, it's a lot.
And we need to bring Vinnie back on to talk a little bit about the transition,
that would be dope.
Of going from, he's still a musician. He was still doing gigs and probably, doing the orchestra stuff and doing,
but it takes courage to be a musician full time. You gotta
for sure
some courage, bro.
For sure. And the thing about him, Tia both, but I've worked with Vinnie, and we've sat down, and he's actually helped me. I was trying to get a business plan together for what I wanted to do, and we spent some time, and he spent some time with me, getting some, just an outline of that up, and so I could just kind of see and look at some things, and so he's really the kind of guy that you want to be working with, because he's got, not only is he a great player, but he's also got that structural thing that he can bring into, because you have to be organized, man. That's But
I like that is true, but I like that he is effervescent about this music. Like he'll have pedal boards, he gets like into that, and he'll get a bass clarinet, and you're like, whoa, when you start doing that, I was like, man, I like the sound of it, I wanted to do that.
Right.
And, talk shop. So a lot of people sometimes get so stuck in their own thing that they're not willing to try other things, and he's not like that. So that's real cool that he's
he's a fearless cat, and is, again, is, you just don't give up. But you don't give up. The only way you don't give up is if you have to have that passion for what you're doing, which kind of, so the subject we kind of wanted to talk about a little bit. I was thinking about something that we heard at church on Sunday. and the pastor Ted Rollins, you know, he had a nice little sermon about just, you know, your relationship. What type of relationship do you have with God, right? And we're not going to turn this into a religious thing, but
I mean, my organ is behind me, so if you want me,
hey, well, yeah, you can get on and yeah, you can testify a little bit. But what I thought about, man, was like, you know what? I need to. This is what kind of relationship do, you know? When I was thinking about that, I was like, what type of relationship do I have with my instrument? Is what I started thinking about. You know, do I have a business relationship? Meaning that the time I play it is when I'm at the gig. Do I have, you know, you know, how would you say? Do I have am I having an affair with it that I only play it when I you know, when I feel like it, kind of thing? You know, or do I have an intimate relationship with it where I'm playing it every day and just constantly working on something? And I think that's an interesting question for,
man.
And it doesn't just have to be music. It could be whatever you're into. You know, it could be,
maybe it might be for the old wrestle heads. Maybe it's a Kerry Von Erich. Maybe you wrestling with your instrument. Maybe you got that relationship, bro.
I mean, there's a million scenarios you can come up with, but
that's
you know,
that's a good question, though.
You know, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't even have to necessarily be if you're a musician. But what if you're just an artist, or if you're a business owner, or if you're whatever it is that your thing. What if you're a photographer? You know, what's your, you know, what kind of relationship do you have with your camera? What you know, if you're a dancer, what type of relationship do you have with, you know, with what you're doing there? So I think it's an interesting question, because I really had to kind of think about that, man, because obviously we have a business relationship because we're working, we play and we make money off of what we do. But
that doesn't mean it's a personal relationship.
No, it doesn't. It does not at all. And I think that you get out of it what you put into it, you know? So if I, you know, like this I really kind of like, I was like, man, you know what? I have to get back to really having that quiet time with my instrument. It's hard. I mean, it's a, you know, that's,
well, you know, it's funny because I think
drums,
Duke Ellington, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Duke Ellington wrote a song, a book called "Music Is My Mistress," and if you put that into just thought about a relationship when it says "music is my mistress,"
right?
That's heavy right there as far as a relationship standpoint, you know?
Yeah, but but I don't think that's full time. That's not full time.
It doesn't seem like it's full time, but it's, I mean,
something you always go back to.
You go to that, you enjoy that, of course. Maybe there's a relationship that you enjoy with music that you can't enjoy with other things, right?
Right.
So maybe, I mean, he had a family, he had wife and family, but maybe he's looking at music as the person or the thing that he sneaks around with, or go, you know, his safe haven, or those kind of things outside of business. You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting way to look at that.
Yeah.
I like, that's an interesting
because business,
way to look at
I mean, you're gonna put into your drum kit, you're gonna make sure the heads are right, you're gonna make sure, you know, all those different things, but that doesn't mean that you're practicing. You're just gonna maintain your equipment, you're gonna learn the songs that you need for the gig, but that doesn't mean if you didn't have any gig, like a business thing is, what is your relationship gonna be like with drums if you don't have gigs? Right?
Check that out.
Because that's business, right? But when the pandemic hit and we didn't have gigs, there's a lot of people didn't shed.
Right.
That was counterintuitive to me. I shed more when it was a pandemic, but a lot of people, because they didn't have gigs, they stopped playing. Man,
that's a man. So I know that if you talk to cats our age, you know, and you have this discussion,
Right.
okay, do you still practice? Right now, we're not gonna we're not gonna try to preach. We're not trying to go in that direction,
Right.
but of course, when you're young, teens, 20s, you know, usually what happens is your practice is super accelerated, like, and super like focused. And there's guys that practice 6, 8, 10 hours a day, you know. And that's that being on that journey of, you know, discovering and getting better, and, you know, all of those kinds of things obviously feeds into that. But as you become a professional, you know, of course that's impossible. But I mean, there's a freak out there every now and then, you know, Chris Potter, the great sax player.
Yeah.
He still sheds hours a day. You know, I got a chance to talk to him because he's from Columbia.
Right.
South Carolina. And I got a chance to talk to him and just talking about, but you could just, those guys are kind of wired a little bit differently,
Right.
you know,
definitely.
and they don't have a lot of other things in their life because that is the main thing that drives them. Right. So, but when you have all these other things in your life, and just like you said, you have a family, you might teach at a university as you do, or you do private lessons like I do. You've got other things that are going on. How do you maintain a personal relationship with your instrument? You know, you know, that can, and that's a, you know, guys, and if you're in the chat, you want to respond to this question, I would love to hear what people think about that. But how do you, you know, Vinnie is still here. He put up there, he has a love-hate relationship with his instrument.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see that.
You know, which I think I go through at times. But
is it the instrument, or is it us that's getting tired of what we play, or, you know, we're trying to get a technical thing right? You know, we may blame the instruments, like, man, I hate this thing, or maybe we're not getting the response that we want to get out of it, or, you know, we get to this where we're tired of our playing, you know, kind of thing. And is that the time where you add in new stuff, or you start shedding more, or you try to get back to the essence of what you loved about it? You know, I remember I was going through one of those phases, and Bill Hatcher told me, he was like, man, go back to when you first played a C chord, just a regular C triad. How did that make you feel? And I thought about it. When I was a kid, maybe, you know, taking classical lessons, they didn't teach playing chords and stuff. The first time I had the opportunity to play in a band, it was like a church band. And the guy was a bass player. It was like a church conference or something. And I'm walking past, and I saw a keyboard set up, but no musician. And they had a bass player and a drummer, and they had singers, right? And they had this big, thick book. And the guy says, hey, Tyrone, you from New Orleans? I know you've played talent shows and stuff like that. You're a piano player, right? I said, yeah. He said, man, our piano player got sick, man. Can you come and play? We got all the music and charts and stuff like that. So, I mean, I could read music at a young age. I was probably in the 8th grade or something like that. And so, but when I opened up the book, they had chord changes in it, right? And I'm like, man, what is that? And he's like, it's just the chord. So he showed me, like, you know, this is a C chord. So I played the C chord before. And playing with that band, just playing the chords, and he's like, they had some with 7s. I said, man, I don't know what that is. He's like, don't worry about the 7s. Just play whatever the triad is, 3 notes at the same time. So I was like, okay. So I knew major and minor. Very rarely in pop music, they had like a diminished augmented chord. So basically just majors and minor. I was able to play that whole gig just playing chords, right? And I remember how much joy it made me feel just to play a regular little C chord while the bass player was playing a C and the person was singing. I was like, wow, this is really music. So when he told me, go back to when you first discovered a C chord, that those emotions flooded my mind. And that was like a happy experience. So I can imagine, like, if you're in a rut, Chris, can you imagine the first time, what joy it gave you to play your first gig and like to feel like you're actually playing music? And we probably was crappy back. You know, I don't know what I sounded like playing. I couldn't have been good, but the feeling that I got from playing a gig and playing with cats and stuff like that, and it was just a great feeling, you know?
Right.
What about yourself? Do you remember that first time that you actually played a gig, or you played something that you're like, wow, this is really cool?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was some of it was just the build up to that, right? So
Right.
you're like, because you're the excitement of finally being on stage, or but it was really the journey to get to that point. There were the rehearsing, you know, you weren't so much thinking like, I mean, yeah, the gig obviously was
so you're a process oriented person. So there's
I mean, I was
there's
very
two types of people, that's goal oriented and process
yeah,
oriented.
I
You're
was
process
very
oriented.
yeah, I was very much so. And
Okay.
I think I still to this day am, because I always feel like I'm at my best when I'm focusing on the fundamentals. You
Right,
know,
right,
I don't because look, after a while, your brain is not going to work the same way that it worked back then. As we
Yes.
continually find out,
and muscles too.
I can't even remember nobody's name. But the thing for me is, man, if I'm working the fundamentals of
Right,
and doing that every day,
right,
my creativity kicks into high gear,
right,
because I'm not worried about like necessarily what I'm going to do. I'm
right,
always excited to see what I'm going to, just to kind of see what I'm going to what's going to happen, you know,
right.
because when those fun, and this is something that you constantly hear coaches talk about with their players, is like, dude, trust your fundamentals. If you trust your
Right.
fundamentals, you're going to be in the right place at the right time.
Right. But you got to work on it though, right? You got to.
Yeah, I mean, you work
fundamentals.
on them,
You lose your fundamentals if you don't work on them.
Right, but what I'm saying is that I think sometimes when you bite off, I'm gonna, oh, this is new, I'm gonna work on something new. Okay, that's cool. Obviously, you work on, you have something, new that you kind of want to strive for.
Right.
But when you're constantly, I feel like you're chasing that new thing.
Right.
I think your foundation can be challenging to keep your foundation solid. At least for me,
right?
It's like that, But when I work on my fundamentals, man, if I stay immersed, because, dude, there's only so much vocabulary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, think about it. There's only how many notes y'all got?
12 different notes.
Okay, so I mean, there's only so much vocabulary. Basically, everybody kind of knows the same thing. What the young people, what I call the when you see these phenoms, especially on the drums, what they have is speed. A lot of them, they could play so fast. It's the same thing, but everything is like, it's like in hyperspeed.
Right.
They've got this thing where they've got the these basic fundamental things mastered at such a level, and then it just becomes all about speed, and that's cool. I mean, that's not necessarily my thing, but that's kind of like what they're into now, is like, how fast can you play this stuff,
Well, I want to write an article called Heroic Music, and it's taken from a phenomenon in sociology called heroic medicine, where doctors and stuff, they do They go all across the country and they treat people who might have a cleft lip, and they get all the accolades for it and stuff like that. But they go back home, they charge an arm and leg for the regular service, right? So heroic medicine is like, hey, I'm gonna rescue a burn victim. It's like 3rd-degree burns all over their body, and they give plastic surgery, do all this stuff, and make them look great and stuff, and then parade them around the journalists and say, hey, isn't this great? I gave up my time, and now this person had 3rd-degree burns, and look at them now, look how great they look, and everybody starts clapping and cheering and stuff like that. But how many people did you help back at home? Like, that's once in a lifetime to get to help a burn victim. And so heroic medicine is like that, but we have heroic music where people was like, look how fast I can play. Look at this. And outside of all the applause and stuff, okay, what did you just do? You just played 100 miles an hour. Okay, so did that serve the music? When are you going to be able to use that with a singer? Oh, you mean to say if you're going to play for a dance and you're going to pull that chops out, then people are going to trip over their feet. The gig is for the people to dance. James Brown, if you ever listen to any James Brown, there's no fills in the music. No fills. You're a drum beat. You're a groove. You're a dance. You're what people dance to. So,
not anymore though.
No. Well, yeah.
Well, they do dance, but it's a different kind of dancing.
But it's a spectacle now. And look, hey, I
that's it. Well, okay, so say that again. Say that again.
Spectacle. Wow, look at that. This is what person can do.
But that plays into where we are with everything else. Everything is like, I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
Everything becomes entertainment. And okay, so to be entertained doesn't necessarily mean you're learning anything or you're feeling anything. You're getting that rush of, it's just like eating sugar all the time.
Right.
We talked, it's like getting that, you're getting, as Shannon Sharp says, you're getting those empty calories.
You're right.
And you keep feeding yourself these empty calories, and before too long, you don't have anything. You don't have anything to stand on. And that's kind of what's happening and that's what's happened to music. Is everything is about like I always say like people hear with their eyes now.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't really, they hear with their eyes. Everything is about what you see, not what you hear. So it makes sense that the gymnastics of music is kind of where it's at right now.
But when you said you see with your eyes, we can be
see with your ears. I'm sorry, hear with your eyes. Hear with your eyes.
When you hear with your eyes, the crazy thing is with technology now, the eyes is the biggest deception. Because what you see is not really what's true anymore.
Right.
So you see a guy playing this drum lick, and if you don't see the earbuds in their ear, like the regular people don't see the earbuds, they don't hear the click track that's going on behind it. While these people are tearing up stuff, or these backing tracks that they play to, So they don't hear, they don't see that, hey, they're playing click tracks, or a person who circular breathes. They see, oh wow, he's holding a note forever. Well, no, they're circular breathing. So it's like, hey,
right,
it's the magic trick. And so look, the camera phones now. I saw something the other day. It was really disturbing. It's the Google phone where you can change the picture, right?
I knew exactly where you were going with that, dude. We saw that. I was like, whoa.
I was like, there were 4 people in the picture, and 2 people had a head down, one didn't have a smile. They actually changed the emotion of the people. It's not real. If what you caught was real. So that means if a person is in a photo and they're frowning, it's like, I'm gonna make it a smile because I want them to be happy with me. And then you are deceived because your eyes are looking at this like, oh, they're happy. Oh. So when you say you hear with your eyes, that means you're not using the sensibilities or the sense of hearing for something. You're looking, it's like, oh, this looks like it's good. This looks like it's bad.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so,
Right.
man, it's and that bodes for your relationship as well. Do you have a fake relationship with your instrument? We know somebody. I'm not going to name any names. They put posts out there, and it's all about a fake relationship with
Mm-hmm.
their instrument and with their business. And I'm
Well, the
like,
instrument, let's say the instrument is a prop.
it's a prop, but you would think that they're making tons of money off of their relationship with their instrument.
Right.
And I don't see it. I've heard this person play, you know, and I
Right.
don't see that they have a relationship or connection with the instrument like that.
Right.
So, you know, hey.
But yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of that, right? I mean, that's what social media basically is it's hard to know who can play and who really can't play.
Right.
Many people have died on the sword hiring people from social media.
Yeah.
And it just it not, it not working out. But just kind of going back to, did you ever say what type of relationship do you feel like you have with your instrument?
Well, I definitely have the professional relationship, right? Because that's what we do. And then it's kind of like what Vinnie alluded to. I didn't think about him doubling and tripling on different instruments, and so you have to put one down. Last night at the jam session, Eric Fontaine and another guy was playing clarinet, and I casually told somebody I play clarinet. I was like, man, I would love to get up there and show what I could do on clarinet, but I have a clarinet. I have my sister's clarinet that I got fixed for. I haven't given it back to her yet. And I'm like, man, I used to love playing clarinet. And so
I had no idea you played clarinet.
Yes, I did. I'm looking at it right now. And so I'm like, man, my dream is to start practicing again so I can go back to Kennesaw and just see one of these kids playing. I'm like, man, let me grab a clarinet. I probably can play better than you guys. Oh, I've never played this thing before in my life, and just kill them on the clarinet, But speaking of a relationship, I look at that clarinet. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, dude, I haven't pulled out the clarinet since when I first got it fixed and started playing some notes, got excited about it. But, I had a post, organ is my new love right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm looking at this beautiful piano that I have. And so recently during a break, I just started playing every day because I noticed my left hand was getting kind of weak. Oh, got you, Vinnie. I got you, bro. Let's do it. So I noticed my left hand was getting kind of weak. But the type of music that we play, usually you play chords in your left hand, so you don't have to worry about a lot of fast technique or moving your fingers around. But when I went to go play my scales and stuff, I was like, oh no, that's not cool. When did that start happening? So I made it a point to get up every morning, and I was practicing 3 hours a day during a break. And bruh, it felt like me and the piano was going out again, bruh. Like, hey baby, how you doing?
Right, exactly.
Like, what is this? And it was hard at first. It was hard. It was like, oh, frustrating. But then as the days got I was like, oh yeah, I know what this is. Oh, look at that. The metronome is going up, creeping up a little bit. Oh, that's cool. I can go at 90 now.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a great, I mean, I think that's a lot for a lot of us. That's exactly what it's like,
But what about with your, like, let's talk about a relationship like with your wife. Let's say Shanita, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a lot of gigs, don't you look over at Shanita and it's like, okay, wait, I got to give her some time. It's like,
absolutely.
You got to, right? If you never recognize that look or recognize, you've been married for how long now?
God.
Come on, bruh. Get this right, bruh.
Do I have to say? I can't remember. No, we 11 years.
11 years. 11 years, bruh. You got to recognize certain looks and stuff by now.
Well, it'll
right?
be 11 years this year.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But then y'all been together before that. But you start recognize certain things like, oh, shoot, I need to take her out. We need to go do something for her, blah, 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 to keep our relationship going. She understands the sacrifice. She understands the other stuff, right?
Right.
And that's what your relationship is with your instruments. Sometimes it's like, okay, we know we're in the spell Christmas holidays, ain't no practicing going on. It's straight gigging.
Right.
But after that, you know, in New Orleans, Mardi Gras would come up. So you had January and February until Mardi Gras was over. Then you have your lull period. But here in Georgia, found out real quick, right after New Year's. That's it, bro. For a while. You know, so that's the perfect time to go back. It's like, hey, I need to spend some time with this instrument, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, it's interesting that you know, you talk about, you know, just your getting back into practicing and you know, and trying to become, you know, a little bit more connected, right? Is that kind of like what we're kind of talking about here? So I want to kind of there was a clip here that I want to talk about a little bit here. Let me see if I can pull this up, man.
Oh, you trying out the technology?
I'm trying out the technology, bro.
Okay.
Who's that? That's you. That's Tyrone Jackson.
Yeah,
so our buddy Brian Falgout has been taking videos.
Damn, I look like my dad.
He's crazy. Just like him. He looks just like him. But he caught this last night. I want you to talk to us a little bit. We're gonna play this solo. It's a couple minutes long, a few minutes long. And just afterwards, we're going to talk a little bit about what was in your head at that moment. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start All right, so I'm going to stop it right there just for a second.
Okay.
Because this was interesting. I want to actually go back because this front part here, we're not sure what's happening because everything is it's still in time, but it's kind of free. We haven't established where the groove is yet and where, you know, we're kind of searching for what's happening. So I'm just going to play that little front part one more time. So there's really, the time is there, but if you listen to, you know, nothing has really been established yet. You're kind of searching.
Okay, I can tell you what was going on in my mind.
All right, hang on. All right.
Right. So the previous solo was like was I the first soloist on this? No.
I believe Joe was.
Joe was, right. So we broke it down back from a burning like walking thing. And then the groove was the bass drum wasn't on one. It was like
nothing was on one, really.
Right, exactly. So what I was hearing was the bass drum is gong gong boom 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 boom, right? So I was like, well, let me grab that, right? And I started hearing it. And so developing that was a piece of inspiration, right? So I'm like, okay, we're not playing one. So I was like, where do I fit in? What do I hear within the framework? Because I was like, eventually we're going to burn. We're going to hit beat 1 with a vengeance, right? So I'm like, let me get permutations of this idea. And if you remember, totally unrelated to that clip, but related, when we started trading, you did something, and my whole motivic section went from something that you did. Every time I trade 4s with you from that point on was from a motif that you played, and I just want to take that and extrapolate it. And so one thing I tell my students is they try to create original content every time they play. And it's exhausting. You can get writer's block trying to play something fresh and new every time. Sometimes playing something fresh and new is from getting inspiration from somebody else, right? Or exhausting a technique. Like you say, okay, if I'm not going to play on beat 1, don't play on beat 1. So if you play that clip back, you'll hear how when you hear the bass drum of what you played, you're going to hear me take that motif. It's real subtle. So you'll hear me take it and try extrapolate it. So if you play it back. You heard it?
Yep. Interesting. You're almost Cuban, but not quite.
Right.
Because I was kind of hinting at that.
Right.
But we weren't all the way in there. But
No.
it was a hint at that.
I'm not playing beat 1 at all because now I'm getting to 1, developing it.
Now we're swinging.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there.
Cool.
Because there's one thing that I think is pretty important is that we're playing through the 1.
Right.
And that way the momentum can continue to build.
Right.
And build and build and build. And most of the time it's kind of my responsibility to drop that when it's time to drop that.
When it's time,
right?
Exactly.
And but I'm trying to hold off as long as I can before we kind of really because to me it's like you don't want to I hate resetting I want the soloist to be able to just continue to go out there as far as they want to go.
Right.
I feel like as drummers, I hear this a lot. I hear that when you're resetting the cat every time. To me, some guys like that. I don't think you think like that though. You kind of want to see you want to travel and see kind of where things go. So that's what I'm trying to do right there.
So Mark says, I was wondering if you were talking to yourself because I'm not cognizant of what my face looked like. So when that clip was playing, I was like, I'm hating the faces that I'm making, right? But people who don't play the music on this type of level don't know when you zone out. Like I'm not counting. Like we're talking now about the music, like, hey, I'm not trying to play beat 1, but in the moment, you're not really thinking about counting, right? You're
not
just whatever's happening is happening, and I'm in the sphere of my brain. And with my eyes being closed, I'm trying to connect to the music. So what you actually see me do with my mouth is singing the notes because I'm trying to connect my hands to my head, to my ear, right? And so I'm no longer thinking about the instrument. I'm just it's really hard to explain other than to say it's like you're looking down upon yourself while you're creating this music, right? It's like,
right.
And that's why it's crucial that you can get out of that zone if somebody taps you on the shoulder, they spill a drink, they break something, they call your name out, whatever. You're like, oh, you just messed up my zone that I was in, because it doesn't come that often, right? So when you get into that zone, it's called optimal theory by Csikszentmihalyi. Is a guy talked about flow theory, where basketball players talk about it, where they start shooting and it's like the goal is open. They can feel like they can make everything, right? And that feeling is palpable. You can feel that, like you feel like you could play anything. But on a normal day, you search for those moments. And sometimes the moment is 30 seconds. Sometimes it's like 30 minutes. You could be open like that. Right. But when you're channeling something, you just have to go with it. But you can never get to that state of flow if you don't trust. You can't trust the musicians that's creating around you.
Right. All right.
I'm trusting totally that you, me, and Joel know where beat 1 is.
Right.
If that trust is negated, there's no way I could go there. There's no way.
And trust me, we've been there.
Right.
So, all right, let's just check out the second part.
That piano playing.
Big head. Go to big head. Boy.
Yep.
Big head. All right, so you're telling a story here, though, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you went from, okay, let's feel things out, to now we're driving, and now we're basically at 100 miles an hour. We don't know if the road is, when the road is going to end. We might all go off a cliff. We don't know what's coming, but you've done a masterful job of building your solo. There's a clear theme, to what you're, not necessarily in what you're playing, but in terms of, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and then now we're at the end. And this is this is where all the great musicians want to get to, right? And it's not easy.
No.
I feel like as a drummer, it's super hard to do that. Like you have to really put some time in to be able to get to that point. But how did this become just a thing that not that you're thinking about it, but that became a theme in your playing?
I think it was what you said. It's just the building of it. It just came together, right? So you're telling the story. There's an arc to your solo, but I think this one is just like, rhythmically, to me, it made more sense than a lot of other things that we can do, because you can track where there's an exploration of rhythm and open space, right? And then it moves into more of a traditional thing. And now it's getting into, which craziness, you can tell I've been working on my left hand, because now I got this ostinato thing happening. My left hand has got this independence that I hadn't had in a while. So now that's just coming out. But that helped to get the build of, we're going into the power part of everything, right? And eventually, I don't know how this is going to happen, because I haven't listened to this. So it's my first time listening to it since yesterday, whatever, playing it. But I imagine it's going to cascade into something and be out. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like it's reaching a climax right now, sort of. You know.
Right.
So yeah, telling a story, you have to have that, and sometimes you luck up and you're telling the story and firing on all cylinders, and sometimes you have trouble telling the story. But I think this was I think it started off the rhythm, and I think we were talking about that earlier today. It's like that's one of the hardest thing to teach is rhythm. It's like, how do you teach somebody to build their rhythm?
Well, as the late great Eddie Wright once told me, who was a great guitar player, but he used to practice on, he had a drum and he used to just work on rhythms on a drum. He studied with one of the masters of percussion, Goombie Ortiz. Oh, wow. And he was in Goombee's band when he was in Florida. And that's what Goombie said, man, put your guitar down and pick up a drum if you want to work on your rhythm.
Right.
And that was like,
yeah.
And I try to tell people that same thing. Oh, I don't know how to play. Well, I mean, how are you going to work on your rhythm if you don't pick up an instrument that is supposed to be about rhythm? But let's hear the climax of the solo.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So
how do you approach that? I mean, you were in a moment just like I was, but I mean, you know me too, but you were comping along. So how do you approach a solo like that that's developing in the moment?
I think it just, I'm trying to give you, I might feed you ideas. I may go with whatever you're doing. But what I'm trying to do is let you go where you want to go. I was talking to Chris Blackwell, guitar player that I play with in the Mike Veal band. And he asked me kind of a similar question, because he just feels something a little bit different when he solos. And I said, man, well, I'm not really trying to reset you all the time. That's why I don't really I'm not trying to hit that one. I mean, I will eventually, but I'm really trying to give you open space to see where you're going to go, you know, instead of making you play in a 4-bar phrase or an 8-bar phrase every time, you know. I want you to be able to extend that, go over the bar and figure out, just see where you're going to go. And then I'll start to kind of get in there with you a little bit if I can. I just think it's different every night, it depends on how well I'm hearing. If I'm not hearing that well, I'll kind of just stay steady.
But you got to know a person's influences too, because McCoy Tyner is a big influence on me. So, if you know that I like McCoy Tyner, then you have to deal with who played behind McCoy Tyner, right? You can't play Philly Joe Jones over McCoy Tyner. It's not the same bag. It's not the same thing. So you got to be cognizant of language for sure.
You have to be cognizant of language and also, but again, I feel like it's just about, it takes time. Sometimes it's instantaneous. If you meet somebody, you guys just click, know,
true.
But most of the time you kind of have to play with someone for kind of a certain period of time. And then, you kind of get to kind of understand where the other person is kind of coming from in terms of how they play. But, I'm not there I mean, that's one thing, I guess I don't hear now I just hear it's almost like a battle sometimes with guys. It's like especially with the way a lot of some of the young guys play, the young drummer. It's like, I'm like, whose solo is this? Is it is it the drummer solo? Or is it this guy's solo? Now, But there are times when I can be super busy, man, when you're playing.
Right.
So people could misconstrue that for being I'm overplaying. But
right.
I think it just really depends on the soloist, man. It really
Right.
does depend. Now, a question for you, because I'm going to bring up one more point about this. I'm going to ask you this: does every solo have to tell a story?
Well, I'm hesitant because I'm not really. I'm trying to think without just going with the first thought in my head. First thought would be like, no, you don't have to tell a story.
Mhm.
My second thought is, but it helps,
Mhm.
right? But I mean, not every date you go on is going to be a steak dinner with lobster and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to grab a quick meal, and that's fast
Mhm.
food or whatever you got to grab, or banana or whatever. Sometimes food is just for fuel and not for taste, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
sometimes you take a solo, you only got a finite number of bars that you have. What can you do in that? Or maybe something is a riff based. Maybe it's not a story. Maybe it's you're just extrapolating. Maybe it's a construction. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm working on this and this is what I'm going to construct. So that doesn't
Right.
mean that it's a less passionate solo because it doesn't sound like it have an arc to it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
some solos could be searching for stuff, and that's all right too. That doesn't have to have a story. I'm like, man, I'm searching for the perfect line, or I'm searching for the perfect phrase, or whatever. So the thing is, can a person decipher what you're doing and say that, hey, I'm telling a story, or I'm not, I'm working on this, or whatever?
Mhm.
It's an interesting question because some people solo for heroics. They want to, they want an applause. And so if you
Well, the
don't get
reason
that
I add,
applause,
yeah,
then
right.
you what? How do you feel after that?
Yeah, the reason I asked that question was because the great pianist Aaron Parks, I once
Yeah.
heard him talking about soloing, and he just
Okay.
said, "Man, sometimes I don't always, I don't want to necessarily tell a story. I'm just trying to, it may just be to convey a certain emotion,
Right.
or I may just want to play melody." A
Right.
lot of great solos, especially like if you think about uh let's just say like pop or rock music, right? So
Right.
one of my favorite musicians is a cat named David Gilmour, who was the
Right.
guitarist in Pink Floyd. Not a flat dude, not flashy at all. Not But very melodic. Everything was about melody to this cat. So he's trying to just to string together melodic things that are melodic phrases, things that you can sing.
Right.
If you think about another rock guitarist, Eddie Van Halen, who had crazy changed, was a game changer, incredible chops, incredible facility. But there's some solos that he did that it was strictly melody,
Right.
and it wasn't a million notes because that's not what the song called
Or
for.
what about effects? Like, didn't Eddie Van Halen play the solo for "Beat It" for Michael Jackson?
He did.
That
Absolutely.
solo, the way it's just the way it starts out, it's wow, 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 like
Mhm, mhm,
like wow, and it's
mhm.
like the perfect solo. I can't imagine hearing anything else in that section.
Right. Even though there's a lot of notes in that solo,
There's a lot of notes,
but
but it's not telling the story per se. It's really the
is it though?
texture. Well, it
Think
is
about it
kind of.
though.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah. Think about it. Think about it. There
At the
is
end,
a
yeah.
there's a
There's an
beginning,
arc.
and there's a middle, there's an end,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so I think but yeah, it doesn't always have to be about a lot, playing a lot. Some songs, it's just like, I mean, you just may want to just groove.
Yeah,
on something.
that's true. That's true.
You know, it wouldn't make sense to play that solo if you was playing a solo over your song "Doot Doot."
Right, right, exactly. No.
That take you into a different bag that
Right,
is going to make you play a little bit differently, right?
right,
So
exactly.
those are those kinds of things I think are always interesting to discuss. But I think again, your relationship, Tia brought up a good point. I can't and she said that I think we were talking just about the art, the you putting your solo together
Right.
the way that you did. And it was you can do that because you are secured in your fundamentals. Now,
Right.
I know we've talked a lot of, man, if we've come from a hard day of doing a bunch of other stuff,
Right.
and you're rushing to get to the gig and then you might be a little bit behind in terms, man, when you get ready to play,
It's
you
not
can't
fair.
even get in the mode of you catching your breath,
Right. Right.
so you really have to lean and on your fundamentals at that point,
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
your creativity is going to be blocked
Right.
I mean, it's happened, man, especially, I mean, I remember just a few weeks ago, it was MLK Day. I had forgotten that we had the a gig that night. And,
Right.
my wife was home. We had cooked. We were chill. I wasn't even thinking about no drums, dude. I wasn't even, that was the last thing even on my mind.
Right.
And then it was like, oh snap, I have a gig tonight.
Right.
I couldn't even think about what I was going to wear to the spot because it was like I was so frantic in like trying to.
Right.
And it just, and that I didn't, and that kind of was like, man, I did, and that night I just felt like I sucked because my brain wasn't wrapped around, playing at all. So,
do you feel like you're giving of yourself? I mean, like, is it a task where you're giving of yourself emotionally and mentally when you play, or?
I think it depends. I mean, that's ultimately where you want to be,
right?
I feel like what's the in the Bruce Lee movie Enter the Dragon.
Right.
So he brings the kid out for his lesson, right? And he's asking the kid to do, kick me or whatever. The kid just throws up some kick and he's like, what was that?
Right.
I said kick me, does it again. It's like, this is not an exhibition, He wants emotion tied to what he's doing.
Right.
Does it again, gives the emotion. He says, that's it. That's where I think sometimes, man, and I think people sometimes well, it just depends on what the situation is, but it's very easy to become unemotional when you're playing for various reasons. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, definitely.
To me, it's like you have to have your brothers that have to be there, and it has to be it's because if you're giving it all and you're not getting anything back, it's like, man, why am I even
right?
Why am I playing like, I'm not getting anything from anybody else. We've been in those situations,
right. And sometimes, I mean, like you said, your brother's got to cover you. Like, I remember on your recording session, you were like, man, I want you to try to take a solo over this song.
Right.
I'm like, man, I am not feeling. And as much as I love the solo, I just I was so concentrating on playing the groove and playing what's needed to be done that my mind frame was, and my emotions was not in the solo. Now today, maybe if you asked me to take a solo, I'd freak it. You know what I'm saying? But in that moment, in that time period, I wasn't emotionally available to take that solo, and I wasn't intellectually available because I did this song that we were doing wasn't an intellectual song.
Right.
It didn't need to
Right.
be that. It didn't need to be
Right.
what can I play over these changes.
Right.
I want to play the right thing over this to make this, because the mood of the song and the texture and what you were needing to elicit out of the vocalist wasn't an understanding of the situation, right? That's the story that's being told. So now I'm locked into that too, because I'm like, well, how can I help tell this story by what I'm playing, right?
Right.
And the story, if you dive into the story and get your emotions in like that, it could be tough, bro.
I think it's harder to play like that.
Yes.
Than it is, to play busy.
Right.
Because when you play that's why to me playing fast is easy.
Yeah.
I got all kind of tricks to hide it.
Right.
There's so many things that you can do because it's exciting. It seems like it's exciting.
Right.
But emotionally, a lot of times you don't really have to be there because it's all about mechanics at that point.
Right.
It's just like they say, playing slow is harder than playing fast.
Yes.
Playing a ballad is harder than playing up tempo. That's why so many people struggle with blues.
Right.
On any scale, because to play the blues for real, you have to tell the truth, right? And all the great blues play, this is what makes it what it is. And this is what I think the connection to the blues is for a lot of people, is that it is emotional, because it is about what you feel in that moment. Right. And when you play and people listen, people can connect. Blues doesn't always have to be sad. Blues can be joyful as well.
Yeah, it could be comical, everything, all that.
But the best way to, I think, emotionally get into the blue is when you have a problem with something, because it immediately it just makes you feel like that, right? And you can, as I say, drown your sorrows in whatever's going on. But that's the emotional connection to that music, which is one of the things that a lot of people have a hard time with jazz, is because it's like, man, I don't feel anything when these guys are playing. It's like, well, you don't really know what you're listening to yet. It takes a while to kind of,
and it's so important to get help too. Like you say, when your brothers or sisters are behind you, like there's plenty of times where I'm like, bruh, man, I'm just not feeling it.
Man, I'm not feeling it.
But it's fleeting though,
and
right?
Nothing wrong with that.
Brother, and then sometimes he's like, well, hey, bro, we got you, and we're just gonna play. And then all of a sudden, you may get inspired. How many times you said, man, I don't feel like going to work. And if you acted up on that, then you'd miss out, because the day that you say sometimes, man, I don't feel like going to work, and you force yourself to go, sometimes that turns out to be a pretty good day, but in your mind, your feelings like, man, I'm not feeling it. So you just kind of got to deal with it. And it's good to have the support. Like if I'm playing with you and Craig and whatever, and I'm not feeling something, sometimes somebody needs to come along and say, hey, bro, let's just play what we do. Because you can look it out the crowd and you'd be like doubting, oh man, because it happened on your gig. I got to give it to you. I was like, bro, maybe we could play this stuff. This looks like an R&B crowd, bro. He's like, hey, bro, let's just play what we do, bro.
Right.
And then I had to acquiesce, but I could have stayed in that zone. I'd be like, man, I'm gonna play all the lickety licks, sweetest, saccharine, sweet and low lickety licks in the world, right? To try to win over a crowd,
right?
Phony, like do it, make this up. Can be contrived,
right?
But when you said let's do that, combination is, first of all, this is not my gig. So the cat whose gig it is saying, let's just play what we play. Okay.
Right. Well, it allowed you to be free.
Right.
It freed you of any kind of like, any kind of hesitations that you might have had.
Right. But the emotion was there. The emotion was fear.
Right.
See, that's an emotion too. And if I would have stayed in the fear zone, then I'd have been like that. But when you said, hey, man, don't worry about that. Sink or swim, we're going to do what we're going to do.
Do what we're going to do.
So if we could have stunk up the joint, But I learned a lesson that day because we didn't stink up the joint. It went over big, what we did.
Huge.
And now my emotion went from fear to bravery. Like, wow, like, oh, it doesn't matter all the time trying to cater to the audience. Maybe being authentic is the way to go, and people will pick up on that,
That's right. And I always think that, man, it's like just if you sometimes you're even like, man, I might not dig what's going on, but whatever they're doing, they believe in it.
Right.
Which goes further than that,
right.
Than actually liking something. So, all right, y'all, man, we could go on and on. This is a great conversation. What type of relationship do you have with your instrument? Drop us a comment. This will be up for a little bit on the Facebook, and I know some people, man, obviously to sit here and watch the whole thing is not possible. So we have a lot of people that drop in and out of the show, and we appreciate everyone that comes in and spends any time with us and hangs. It never fails. It just never fails.
He riding high right now. But he's going to be like the Buffalo Bills. Y'all riding high. Y'all going to be like the Dallas Cowboys now.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't get emotionally involved with this, Mark. I'm telling you, bro. Don't
Every Knicks win we have to hear. There's so few and far between. I guess we should go ahead and post.
They're falling right now. They're doing well. I got to
we'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, drop us a line, drop us a comment. You can send us a message. We appreciate our guests that were with us tonight, Vinnie, Dagostino, and Tia Rix. They have a show coming up Monday night at the Red Light Cafe. You can go to redlightcafe.com and get more information about tickets. I think they said they go on at 8:00. And they've got a great band with Kevin Bales on piano, Justin Chisarek on drums, and Neil Starkey on bass. So, so with that, let's see. I'm at Tin Roof tomorrow with the Mike Veal band. I will be mixing my single that's going to be coming out here shortly in February. We're mixing that on Friday over at 800 East Studios with Marty Kearns. Nice. So looking forward to that. Got some last minute touches that are actually being done tonight.
Nice.
On that, as I think probably as we speak. I haven't gotten any messages yet, but I know my man is working on that. So nice. But we're gonna mix that and drop that and then move to the next song here in the next month or so. And other than that, I have we will be out of town this weekend. We got to go to Charlotte for my wife's be with my wife's family a little bit. And what you got going on this weekend, man?
Friday I'll be at the GMEA, Georgia Music Educators Association conference in Athens. So
it's up in Hendershots, right?
Hendershots later on that evening. I'm also going to be there for a poster session. I work with this project called the Improvising Brain, Finding the State of Flow, where we had 22 musicians that we put in an fMRI brain scanner and had them sing solos or imagine solos, and ask them a bunch of questions that they answered and see if they enter into a state of flow and where improvisation happens in the brain. So the lead researcher, Dr. Martin Nargard, is presenting at GMEA at 11 o'clock. So if you're at GMEA, anybody who's going out there, he's going to do his poster session at 11 o'clock. I'll be there, one of the people that help with that research project. And then later on that evening, we'll be playing at the jam session. I think it's 8 o'clock at Hendershots. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So just going to peruse and network with cats and stuff like that and see what, some of the talks are going on.
Right.
Increase the mental. And then I don't have anything Saturday. Sunday I have church, and then that's it. A lot of writing and stuff to do. But yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
man. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you're on Facebook, give us a follow. If you're on Instagram, give us a follow on our page. If you are on YouTube, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to know when we are live or when we are dropping new videos. We've got some new stuff coming up here in the works, and other than that, I don't know. No shows. I think just the Monday night jam. You're not going to be there because you're off. You're only doing the jam every other week, but Joe Granston Jazz Jam. And we got to get Joe on the show here pretty soon.
Sure.
So we've talked about that. We're going to get him on to talk about his career, which is very interesting. A lot of people, I think, would be real interested to hear this cat's journey and to see where he's ended up. So just the regular stuff. We really appreciate everybody for supporting and hanging out. We're on our 25th episode. I think we will have to skip one in March. We have a is it March or April?
March.
I think it's March. Later in the month of March. But we're going to be here in February. We got some cool guests that are going to be coming on and chopping it up with us. So stick around, and the best is yet to come, man. You got anything else to add to the closing?
Yeah, I didn't know what I didn't know I was gonna be put on the spot with the solo.
You never know, man.
Glad it turned out good.
Yes,
Could have been a bad one. Could have been a bad one. You never know.
Hey, but sometimes that you can analyze that too. Like, what happened? Like, what's going?
Sure.
That's I think, man, that's why I had to put the phone up, because I hadn't done that in a while. I was like, let me see what's under the hood.
Right.
I have been feeling like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the oil might be leaking a little bit. Might be smoking in there.
Oil might be leaking, man. And that's and like I said, when I get away from fundamentals, that's when I just feel like I'm not playing well. But anyway,
good stuff.
Thank you, guys. We will see you all next week. Peace.